Do you ever feel like your life does not fit you, like your career does not fully fit you, your daily habits, your relationships, etc.? Something just simply feels off. It doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel exciting. It doesn't feel fun. It doesn't feel like an adventure. It doesn't feel like you're growing, etc. Why is that? In this video, I want to share with you how to actually be your most authentic self and how to kind of begin creating a life around that. I'm going to be giving you some good resources for that as well. And I basically want you to recognize that this is an introduction to this topic. I want to just jump right into the first point. And the first point is basically getting clear about your motivations. What is your true motivation? You see, we can make a quick distinction here between intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. And it's very well covered in this book right here, The Art of Impossible. Intrinsic motivation is your true motivations. They come from inside of you, like what you're passionate about, what you love, what you're curious about, what feels freeing. Where does your creativity take you? Where does your bliss take you? Do you follow your bliss, etc.? Extrinsic motivation is kind of the opposite. It comes from our environment, like money, status, approval, validation, recognition, trophies, gifts, grades, etc. And many of our actions, because we're conditioned, which is going to be my next point, but we'll get into that shortly, we're conditioned to often chase the external, thinking that that's going to lead to happiness rather than being connected to our true selves. Instead of being connected to our true selves, we kind of repress it. We push it away. We don't trust it. We don't feel safe experiencing it. We feel actually kind of afraid to follow the things that we actually love and to fully own our actual desires and to completely connect to them and let these heartfelt goals that we have guide us. We don't trust it. We just simply don't feel safe. And we'll talk about that shortly. But essentially, we're conditioned to just not trust ourselves. So where do your actions come from? What motivates you? What emotions are present in each experience? How much fear, tension, and insecurity motivates you versus, let's say, wholeness, passion, love, and your actual heartfelt goals? You see, that can sound a little bit like idealistic, but it's really not. This is a very practical thing in this experience right now. What's motivating you to do the things that you're doing? What's motivating you to do your work? What's motivating you to do your schooling, etc.? For example, when we're brought up in school, we're basically very mainly taught to focus on getting good grades. That's extrinsic motivation. We're taught to get the teacher's approval, extrinsic motivation. We're not really taught how to actually live in alignment with our highest excitement. We're not really taught how to, let's say, create meaningful goals for ourselves based off of our own personality, our psychology, our psychological temperaments, our true needs, our true desires, etc. That's never really spoken about ever. So this brings me to my next point is we've been conditioned to be inauthentic and at war with our true desires, our true needs, our true feelings, etc. So not listening to authorities when you're very young actually gets you in trouble. Not listening to your parents, not listening to your teachers. And you as a child understood very deeply that you need that approval to survive. Them giving you love was actually fundamental to you feeling safe and getting your needs met. So instead of following your intrinsic motivation, instead of actually being connected to yourself, you had to actually repress parts of yourself that did not lead to approval and love. And this happened over and over and over and over again for the first 0 to 7 years of your life, especially. And then 7 to 14, that was just reinforced over and over and over again, really almost like 7 to 18. And then you don't even really know what just happened. You're not even very aware of what was actually happening during those years of your life. And they were extremely formative. So not listening to authority figures literally meant that your survival was at stake. That's how it was interpreted. So shame, embarrassment, love, all that, love being taken away, things like this, these were all threats to our survival, punishments, feelings of disconnection, criticisms, abuse. These all deeply threaten us as children. And we have all sorts of ways in which our motivations are continuously in which we continuously disconnect from them. We're kind of guided away from them. For example, maybe you're sitting in your class, and I'm really did this all the time, where it's a nice sunny day, right? And you're a child sitting in class, and you want to go outside. I wanted to play soccer. I wanted to play sports. But instead I have to focus on, what my teacher's doing and this subject that I have no genuine interest in, and it doesn't feel valuable to me. It's not connecting to me emotionally. The teacher's not even connecting to me emotionally. It's not really serving my needs very much, but nonetheless, I'm kind of forced to sit here. And if I actually follow my real desires, I'm gonna get in trouble, right? I'm gonna get yelled at. I'm gonna get punished. They'll tell my parents, and I'm gonna be very afraid, and all that kind of stuff. So instead of actually fostering a real connection to your true motivations, to understanding your psyche, to connecting to yourself emotionally, to getting clear about your needs, etc., we're kind of just guided away from that. We're told to do this thing that we don't really like doing because we're afraid. And then we are conditioned to repeat that pattern over and over and over and over again in our life. Essentially, we do not actually trust ourselves. We don't trust our creativity, our curiosity, right? Look at a little kid when they're just looking around the room. They're just very curious, and they're putting things in their mouth, and they're smelling things, and they're just learning what their experience even is. They're just experiencing things for the first time, basically. And they're just what's this existence thing? And they're very curious about it. We're essentially cut off from that, and instead we're conditioned to follow things that don't actually mean much to us, and then we wonder why our lives don't fit us. We wonder why we don't really get our needs met. We wonder why our life does not feel fulfilling. We wonder why we don't feel authentic in relationships. We wonder why our career doesn't fit us. We wonder why we don't feel like we're growing, why life doesn't feel like it's an adventure, etc. So instead of listening to our true motivations, we actually have to repress them. Listening to our true motivations is interpreted as a threat, and instead we have to actually focus on getting our needs met, like love, safety, approval, etc. So naturally we just numb ourselves to our body, our physical body. We numb ourselves to the feelings in our gut, in our heart, to our intuition, right? Our true intelligence, our mind's true intelligence, we kind of numb that as well. Our motivations, our true desires, etc. All this stuff is considered not safe. We actually get traumatized. That's what that does to us. So we have to actually heal that developmental trauma. And then our society is basically ran on this trauma, on this unconsciousness, on this emotional disconnection and disassociation. And all this basically turns into all the distraction that we have, all the overstimulation, which is just forms of numbing, disconnection, disassociation, addiction, junk food, Netflix, social media, nonstop scrolling. Our phone is always in our pocket, political polarization, rising extremism, etc. These are all manifestations of a lot of this sort of unconsciousness, this lack of connection, this lack of safety, this trauma that we actually have. So our society is very much built on trauma. Our evolutionary conditioning is literally informed by the traumatic experiences of our ancestors over time. So moving on, conscious living is kind of this act of rebellion for the most part. Being authentic is almost like this act of rebellion, because instead of kind of going with the grain, it's like you're actually challenging the status quo, which is unconscious, robotic, mechanical, living on autopilot, traumatized, sick, etc. And you're trying to create wholeness. You're trying to create balance. You're trying to self-actualize. You're trying to raise your consciousness. You're trying to heal. You're trying to self-transcend. So conscious living becomes an act of rebellion when we live in an unconscious world. And that world, that unconscious world, essentially thrives on keeping you unconscious, addicted, asleep, and numb. It's good for business. It's good for businesses to keep you addicted to their algorithms. It's good for businesses to keep you addicted to their junk food, etc. So these patterns ruin our connection to ourselves, which creates inauthenticity and suffering, right? We have to actually reconnect to our self, our internal family system, right? Our whole being, right? We have to reconnect to the somatic element, connect to our body. So to live as our true selves, we need to actually understand our true motivations. We need to actually understand our own psychology and our own personal emotional conditioning and wounds and traumas. And we have to actually heal those wounds and traumas. We have to become conscious. We have to become more aware of our experience. We have to be more present and grounded in our body in this experience. We actually have to connect to our emotional experiences and actually integrate the buried emotions by inhabiting the body and healing the trauma that stores itself in the body. The body is really keeping the score. So being yourself is fundamentally challenging. It sounds very idealistic. I'm going to follow my bliss and follow my heart and blah, blah, blah. But in actual experience, this is very, very challenging because you have all these fears that block you. You have all these emotional wounds and traumas and unconscious aspects of your mind. You have this self-criticism that says you're not smart enough. You have parts of you that just feel like they aren't worthy of it, low self-worth, low self-esteem. Basically, you have these fears and all this conditioning that just tries to maintain itself. And when you challenge that, you just start to get scared and you go back to addictions, numbing, a job you hate, relationships and friendships that don't fit you, patterns in your life, habits in your life that don't actually wake you up. They don't give you energy. They're not life-affirming. They're dysfunctional, etc. All that destroys our authenticity and our ability to really just live a fulfilling life as a human being. We're just kind of asleep. We're on autopilot. We're not going through life very consciously. So we're so conditioned to be at war with ourselves, which destroys our natural wholeness and creates inauthenticity, right? So being yourself, being authentic, being fully yourself, inhabiting your body fully, bringing presence into the body fully, getting deeply connected to your heartfelt goals and desires, etc. This is challenging because we have so much trauma, we have so much conditioning, right, that perpetuates itself. We're at war with ourselves, and we are, right, perpetuating this. It's been happening for as long as humanity's been around for the most part. We've been doing it our entire lives. Our ancestors have been doing it, so it's up to us to break the pattern. And we're conditioned to believe that we won't survive if we exist as our true self. If we connect to ourselves and act based off of our true desires, what's actually healthy for us, we're convinced that we are not going to survive. Because in our childhood, we could not do that. We had to sacrifice that repeatedly to get the approval and the love and the safety we need from people in positions of power over us, people in positions of authority, priests, teachers, parents, etc. Anyone who we depended upon for getting our needs met. We had to sacrifice the parts of ourselves that they don't like in order to please them so that we can just cling on for dear life. The situation that a child is in is actually quite intimidating. It's scary, it's confusing, etc. Life is very mysterious, it's unknown, and all we know is that this person or this group of people, they keep me alive and they care for me, and we can feel that I'm dependent on them. And if I break this connection, bad things are actually going to happen. It's going to be a threat to my survival. Kids are smart. Our nervous system is very, very intelligent as human beings. And it's also challenging to actually be fully authentic, because this is the path of self-actualization. This is the path of getting your higher needs met. This is the path of self-transcendence, integration, wholeness, raising consciousness, synthesis, creating balance, genuine well-being, connection, deep safety, being grounded in the body, healing old wounds, seeing reality clearly, noticing all your delusions and distortions and beliefs that keep you stuck, and all that kind of stuff that just distorts reality, and actually like cleaning it up, letting it go entirely. So we're actually very deeply challenging our own personal status quo, and our personal status quo wants to survive. It wants to cling on for dear life. So there's all these kind of forces that are pushing us to remain the same, even though it might not be good for us. And then deep down inside of us, we feel this pull of like, I need to grow, I need to evolve, I need to be something, I need to be my full self. I need to actually unlock my potential that's like lying dormant in me. I need to create more balance in my life. I need to actually be more aware. I need to be in my body, grounded in my body. I need to actually recognize my natural wholeness and heal my inner conflicts and fragmentations. We feel that and we actually want that, right? That's why we have needs for self-actualization and self-transcendence. That's the entire point of them. And when we don't get those needs met, we become sick, just like when we don't get any other need met. Just like when we don't get other needs met, When we don't get our vitamin C, we get sick. When we don't feel safe, we get traumatized. When we don't get the emotional connection that we need, etc. I can keep going on and on. When we don't get our self-esteem needs met, blah, 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 blah. All of this hurts us and creates suffering. So that's it for this video. If you are interested in going deep, you can work with me one-to-one. I also have group coaching available. It's just incredible resources that I actually have. It's quite rare. It's based off of 8+ years of meditation and meditation retreats and literally hundreds of books. And I've been doing this for many years. So if you're interested, consider working with me. I also have a free book list for those of you who want to get started and just want some good resources. It'll help you out a lot. Thanks for watching. See you later.